Hello and welcome back to Too Lazy to Read, the place where we tackle books so you don't have to pretend you are saving them for the weekend until the heat death of the universe.
And yes, before anyone writes in, we have not forgotten alcohol. We did smoking, we stared at nicotine in the face, and now we turn to its louder cousin, who arrives late, sings badly, and cries in the taxi.
Spot on. And today it's Alan Carr's easy way to control alcohol, which is really Carr doing what he always does best, walking into a room full of accepted wisdom, politely clearing his throat, and then kicking a hole through the wallpaper to show you the plumbing.
He does have that energy, like a man who's come to fix the boiler and ends by explaining that the house itself is a scam.
Exactly. Now, before we get on the comedy bus, let us be clear about what Carr is doing. He is not writing a hospital pamphlet, a government leaflet, or a beige little booklet called "Please Drink Sensibly, You Troubled Goose." He is making an argument. His claim is that the alcohol problem is not solved by fear, guilt, labels, or white-knuckled suffering, but by seeing through the illusion that alcohol gives you anything worth keeping.
Yes. In Carr's world, the bottle is not a sacred mystery. It is a very pushy little salesman in a waistcoat, insisting you need him for weddings, grief, boredom, courage, dinner, football, Tuesday, and Aunt Linda's barbecue.
Precisely. And once you see the salesman clearly, he becomes much less impressive. Still annoying, yes. Still wearing the waistcoat, tragically, but no longer magical. With that said, this book is not really a manual of rules. It is an argument. A big, repetitive, occasionally bossy, often very funny argument. And Carr's central point is shockingly simple. He says alcohol is not a pleasure. It is not a crutch. It is not a reward. It is a trap. And you do not escape it by heroic self-denial. You escape it by seeing clearly that there was, in fact, nothing worth clinging to in the first place.
Which is a much better sales pitch than the usual one, which is basically, you may now live forever in beige, but at least your liver will stop filing complaints.
That is exactly the old pitch Carr hates. He thinks most quitting methods fail because they are built on a tragic misunderstanding. They assume you are giving up something valuable. Carr says the whole misery begins there. The second you frame it as sacrifice, you have already made alcohol precious. So let's walk this through properly. Because this book has a lot of moving parts, but underneath them all is one big demolition job. Carr opens with an almost offensively ambitious promise. He says if you have a drink problem, this can be solved easily, immediately, and permanently. No endless white-knuckling. No noble deprivation, no spending the next 20 years saying, "I'm fine, actually," through the clenched face of a retired hostage.
A bold opener. Like arriving at Everest Base Camp in loafers and saying, no, the mountain's mostly administrative.
Yes, and he knows how absurd it sounds. He also knows he's running directly against Alcoholics Anonymous and the general cultural view that alcoholism is a lifelong fatal disease with no real cure, only recovery. Now here Carr is interesting. He is not contemptuous of AA. He actually praises it a great deal. He admires the fellowship, the honesty, the lack of judgment, the mutual support. He even says AA has saved countless lives, but he thinks its cornerstone idea is wrong. Specifically, the idea that alcoholism cannot be cured. And that matters, because if you tell people you will never be free, only forever in recovery, you may save some of them, yes, but you may also trap them psychologically in permanent vulnerability.
It's the difference between you've escaped prison and do keep in mind you are spiritually in cell 4B and the warden may return at any time.
Precisely. Carr thinks many approaches accidentally preserve fear. They keep the substance mighty. They keep the ex-drinker in a posture of vigilance and deprivation. And he wants to replace that with something far more outrageous. Relief, not be strong. But thank God there was nothing to miss. And the first instruction is, keep an open mind